Hi there, welcome back to another episode of McCall Media TV, whereby today myself, Angela McCall, is basically going to be talking to you with about some tricks of the trade, as it were, to help you manage the content of your WordPress website pages. Now, you might just think, actually, you know how to do this, but literally everybody that I have taught, all my clients and even virtual assistants who manage the content for other people, for their own clients, have learned some of the tricks on how to navigate and manage the content on their pages with a little bit more ease, having had worked with me. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to dive into my point and click puzzle games WordPress website, which we've been using for the subject of a number of these DIY WordPress tutorials. We're going to pick up where we left off on the last video, where I was styling the about page section on that front landing page of my website, and how those pages, when you click on them, or the links within that section, go in and view the pages directly, which is what we're going to be designing in today's video. So if you haven't been here before, here's my socials on how to find me. Now, please do subscribe and stay notified. I'm trying very hard to make these videos work as a standalone subject, so that if you just want to learn a specific skill set, you can do so. But also, if you are designing your own WordPress website and you have been following me, this is also part of a sequence of videos that takes you on a journey all the way from literally launching your WordPress website to an out-of-the-box solution and customizing it all the way through and upgrading themes and plugins and all sorts of jazz like that. So let's dive on over to my left-hand monitor screen, where you can see this is where we have been working on my point and click puzzle games, the other branch of my business. And over the last few tutorials, we've been designing this section here. In the last video, we looked at how to create redirects so that these actually go out to various other websites. So this one will go out to my YouTube channel, which I'm just demoing now. There we go. That will support this particular business. And I'm going to go back, and these two here goes to my McCall Media website, which is fine. And at the moment, Angela McCall as a website doesn't exist, but we have basically created a URL link that goes on to the McCall Media website. So the only page that we need to concentrate on right now is designing the content for point and click puzzle games. It's the about page for our website. Now, as you can see, I've got to populate all 4 images and tweak this excerpt information that goes here. So we're going to deal with that first in the initial part of this video, and then we're going to dive into the actual content of this particular page. So I'm already signed into my dashboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go and navigate to my pages, and I'm actually looking for the specific pages that we're going to populate. So let's start with the McCall Media one. So McCall Media Limited, this is the page itself. As you can see here, we added a placeholder image and things in previous videos. So I have now gone and designed my images for this particular section of my homepage. So I'm just going to go in here, and I'm actually going to upload all 4 of those pages in one go to make my life a little bit easier. And whilst we're on this section, once they have loaded, I'm also going to just quickly populate this meta details right here on the right hand side of each image, because it's good practice as you put images into your website that you actually populate the meta details, because it helps with your SEO rankings and things. It's a small tweak, but it kind of keeps everything nice, neat and tidy, and it's a good practice to get into. So this one here is about Angela McCall. And all I'm going to do for the moment is copy and paste this all the way down all 4 fields for the moment, and literally do the same for all of these. So this one is about McCall Media. So this is the one we actually want to use, McCall Media Limited. So copy. So you get the idea. I'm just going to quickly finish this now for all of these others. Point and click puzzle games. And then last of all, we've got this one here, which is the YouTube channel. So about teaching kids to code. So copy. It'll probably become a page in due course, but for now, I just want to link to my YouTube channel. So this is the one I actually want to use it in this particular instance. So we have now included that as the featured image, and all I need to do is work about this excerpt here, because this is the only information that's powered down here. So visit the McCall Media Limited website to learn more about the parent and owning company. There we go. That's nice, easy. I'm just going to update, and once that has finished, I'm just going to refresh. So this should populate now. There we go. Looks a lot neater. There's the links, all still work, and what we've got down here is a nice little description as to what people can expect. And I'm just going to repeat the same thing here for the Angela McCall and the Teaching Kids to Code. Okay, we're just going to refresh. There's the Teaching Kids to Code. So it's all starting to come together now. And then last of all, we've got this point and click puzzle games one to do. Now this is the actual page that we're going to be working on. So let's come down to point and click puzzle games. There we go. Right, okay, so let's start by populating that front page so that we have got everything sorted nicely for the home page. So that I need to write the actual content. So when I refresh this page now, there we go. Oh, I've just realised I've put the wrong image. There we go. It's nice and easily fixed. Let's just change that. So Teaching Kids to Code. There we go. Let's just swap over the thumbnail image. That's my bad. There we that's the one. YouTube one is the one I wanted. And I'm just going to update. And then I'm just going to refresh. So this, there we go, looking a lot better now. Now it does need a border or something around these. I don't like how plain they look, but I will do that on another episode, possibly for some CSS. But this one here, point and click puzzle games, as you can see, there's my little instruction to myself. I need to actually put some content on this page now and talk about this page. The little excerpt that we've got here, learn more about this website, why it exists and who supports it. If we look carefully back on this page, this is the little excerpt that's going there. So everything is displaying and working nicely, but we have got no menu, we've got no header image. So this page and some of the actual site settings itself, now that we're starting to build out this website and put some content in it, needs to be tweaked and updated. But for now, if we click on point and click puzzle games, and if you've been following my tutorial so far, you'll notice that there is no branding, logos or anything in any kind of like bar at the top of the screen here. It's just gone straight into the page name. Now that is because if you go back a few tutorials, we decided to use the hero bar of our website as a holding page instead of the maintenance plugin, because it looked visually a lot nicer. But having two logos showing on the page got a little bit busy up here, so I basically removed the logo that normally lives up here. So the first thing I'm just going to do, which isn't necessarily to do with the content, but I do just need to add it back in to start giving the page some sort of characters, as it were. We're going to come back down to our site identity, and as you can see, there's no logo, and I'm literally just going to add a logo in right now. I'm just going to check. Yes, that's the one I wanted. Okay, and obviously I'm just going to select it, the whole thing, crop. Now I'm going to play with this again in a little bit in due course, but you can see now that the logo's been added back into the site, and if I publish it and come back over here, you can see that the logo now appears, and as we come down to point and click puzzle games, it now shows. Now obviously, now that this is populated, I will also be able to add in a menu bar, which I'm going to do in the next tutorial, because obviously we've actually got a page to navigate to, and obviously we're going to add a contact page, and we're going to start actually talking about the apps that I am developing for this side of my business and all sorts of other things, including the YouTube channel and all sorts. So for the moment, that's where we are. Now this particular video is obviously about the content, so let's just quickly dive in now to the content on this page. So coming back over to our admin page, let's navigate to the page itself. So it's the point and click puzzle games, and there's the slug or the URL at the top there. So point and click puzzle games. Okay, now one of the things that people get a little bit confused with this new style of WordPress is that they find it difficult to navigate their way around, and I'm going to show you a couple of different things here. So first of all, we've got different blocks that we can add in. So I can add in paragraphs, images, and so forth. And if I quickly dive on over to my main website, I'm going to show you some page layouts, some examples of how you can manage that content. When you start using things on a regular basis, some of the content will show here as a common element. Now you can't do anything wrong. You're just adding in a block that styles content on your page in a certain way. And if you end up putting something in and you don't like it, you can just delete it and remove it. Now, one of the things that people do get confused about, especially when they've got complicated elements, come on page load, is up here in the top left hand corner. Let me just move my little picture. Okay. Here you've got some other tools. Now you might necessarily need to show this bar on the right hand side by clicking the cog icon, but you've also got your three top dots there as well, which controls this top menu. I like to kind of have it sort of selected so all of the things are in the top here. Yours might not be, it might be like that by default, but this is where you can basically focus on things, and as you can see there, it allows you to focus on one particular content block at a time. I don't particularly like that version, so I like to work with the visual editor in the top, and then I generally swap things into the code editor if I need to. Now don't worry about that too much. That's more to do with how to code HTML into your content on your page, so you guys probably won't need to touch that much. There is some guides and some shortcuts and things that you can do, and there are some options as to sections that will actually populate over here on the right hand side. For example, I could turn on the custom fields and take that out, and then obviously when we're over here, you've got all these sections. That's basically turning on and off what you can see over here on the right hand side. Now this button here, this one here, is really useful to you. Now obviously at the moment we haven't got anything in here but the classic block, so let's say for example I want to take this particular block out. Okay, it's gone. All right, let's just take this out completely. There we go. What you can do is you can transform things up here. So let's just say we want to add in a block with some images. Let's just show you some examples. So where's my about page here? So one of the things that I like to do is to help break up, I don't like big blocks of text. So to break it up, I have basically got a 3-column layout here with the center column always populated with an image. And then on the left column, I've got some text. On the right column, I've left it blank. So this is literally one row with 3 columns. One row with 3 columns, one row with 3 columns, one row with 3 columns. And this just shows you some of the different ways that you can sort of build up the content blocks for your website. And as you can see, that's kind of like a theme that I have going through my entire website. With some of my services, I have something else going on. Generally, if I've got a video that I want to put up here, which I haven't populated yet because I was working on this just a couple of days ago, but essentially if I want a video and a little bit of an intro and then list some of the services and things that I can do, there's ways of doing that. Tools of the trade, let's have a look. You can see here there's a video and some welcome blurb, and then I've got some other tools and plugins that I've got going on at the bottom content here, which I've used using shortcuts. So there's lots of different things that you can do. So for example, that image, common blocks, it's going to be that one that I've started here with the 3 layout, shall we say. Let's go back and show you how to do that. So this starts off by using a column. So if you can't find it, you can just type in the word column. Okay, 3 equal sizes, which has given it to me automatically, but if you look over on the right hand side, you could actually change it. So if you don't want it to be 33%, 33% and 33%, maybe you wanted something like 10 and I don't know, 40 and 50, you can change each of these percentages, each of these columns, by clicking on it to make sure it's selected. Get off. There we go, and then you can click on it. Now if I just, this is where I sometimes find it a little bit frustrating myself, even for dealing with the new way that WordPress deals with its content. For example, as you just saw, I was just trying to click on the main box itself, and that's why I was going to show you this on the top left corner. If you're struggling to select, like I've just selected the whole of that section, but you were struggling to, you can actually come up, let me come off of the page and go up here. Now you can see that the content section has been added. So if I was to click on that, it now selects it, which means that the tools that come up over on the right hand side is now to do with the entire block and not a specific element of that block. So for example, if I wanted to, I could color the background or the text. Let's just, I don't know, there you go. And I can do all sorts of different things. I can clear it and I can customize that as a particular block. That's not obviously what I'm going to do, but I just wanted to show you guys that there and then. And then obviously when you've got the components themselves, you can add in different sections. Now obviously I've got a placeholder image that I've already created and used, so I could add that here, and then I could put in a heading, for example. And then I could put in underneath it a paragraph section. So this is the blurb, there we go. Okay, and I can do all sorts of things. And if I update this, every time that the block itself is, or a particular component is selected, the tools for that particular component will arrive or show up on the right hand side. So for example, this here is a H2 heading, but I could make it H3. I could change the text color so you can see it's changing there. So all sorts of things you can do with it, including adding your own custom CSS. So I could write my own CSS and then give a class name there, and that will style this particular image. That's going to be a tutorial for another day, but you can see all sorts of things that are going on. I can put the image, the alternative text for the image. I could make it large, small, medium size. I could use percentages. I could leave it to be the original settings, or I could reset it. So there are lots of different things that you could do. I could make it rounded, for example, or the default I think is as it is there. So for example, I can make it rounded, and then I can come back off. And all you need to do is you need to play. And if you find it really difficult, let's put a quote in here. Quote goes here. So I don't know, maybe I want to quote Marilyn Monroe or something. I can add a quote, and if I update and now go back to the actual page and refresh this, you can see how I've started to style the content on the page. Now obviously this is just complete gobbledygook, because obviously I'm just showing you on the fly here some of the things that you can do, but it does give you a quick realization on how easy it is to sort of duplicate and repeat things. So for example, if I wanted to do that twice, a bit like I have here, that first row and that third row are pretty much the same layout. What I can do now is I need to select the entire block area. So I'm going to go up here again, and I'm going to click on like the parent section, as it were, which allows me then to click on here. And don't forget, I've put all my settings in the top bar, whereby if we come back over here and untick that, you can see them. You might find that easier by seeing what you can do with this specific block by having the controls there. But I could duplicate it, and now you can see this has been repeated, and that's a nice way of, there we go, she says, repeating the content. Now say for example you've got a specific layout that you like to use, and you want to put it on blog articles, for example, because you obviously maybe publish a blog article once a week. What you can do now is you can put things into memory, as it were. So let's just come and select that section. Okay, if I right click, or not right click, but those three little dots, what we can do here is we can add it to a reusable block of code, but we need to give it a name. So let's call this 3-column content and a quote, okay, or something like that, 3 columns, or we could put content, image, quote, or something to help me identify this section. And if I click save, now if I was to go to a new page, oh, stay on page, it wasn't really, hadn't saved right. If I wanted to go to update, sorry, my bad. If I go to a new page and launch a new page, it will allow me now to select that block from the reusable section. There's the block that I've just created on the other page, and when I've put it in here, it now inserts it. And if I click on the 3 dots this time, what I can do is I can now convert it to a regular block, which means now it exists in this page, and I can edit the content without upsetting the template or the content that's still in the reusable block section. So for example, if I wanted to come down here now, let me actually just change this by going hello Angela, and I'll put something like new text, just to give you an idea that how I've just customized it. Let me just open something else up. Let's just put that in there. Right, so let's just say I'm going to publish it with no name. There we go. This is not very good. Right, so there's my content. Okay, I've got on a new page that exists with some blurb going on. So I've now styled this content, but what I can do is when I go back down to reusable, because I I inserted it and I went here and converted it to a regular blog, it means that the actual version that I've saved as a reusable item still it acts as like a template. It doesn't get altered in any way. So now again, if I wanted to work with this right now, I have to convert to a regular block, and again I can now basically tweak this any way that I wanted to. So I could, for example, put this as the image and save. And now if I come to this page, you can see that I haven't got to reinvent the wheel every time. The styling has all been created. I've just got to change the actual content itself, and that saves you huge amounts of time if you learn how to use the reusable blocks, especially if you're going to create styles like this. For example, I would have created this as one, so maybe a left-hand column style, and that might have been a right-hand column style. So I've only had to create it once, but then it doesn't matter which page of my website you go to, that format has then been set up, and I've added some CSS and all sorts. So it's kind of like sort of creating templates for yourself for a lot of the content, meaning a lot of the things that you do, that you repeat, will be done quickly, and it also makes a very nice uniformed format to display all your content and pages. So I just thought I would show you how to sort of some tricks of the trade, as it were, for managing your content here. And that's pretty much where I wanted to sort of leave it on this video today. Other than that, just basically say to you, go and play. You can't do any wrong. Just delete it or remove it as a reusable item so that you delete it from as a template to use in the future. So I hope you found that tutorial quite useful. I'm now going to just quickly finish the rest of the population of that content on my point and click game, or on my point and click page here, because obviously this isn't meaning anything. There we go. So I hope you found that video really useful today, and it helped you manage some of the content, because sometimes it's the frustration of not knowing how to do something that you know is so incredibly simple that creates that kind of overwhelm, frustration, as in, oh, I've just got to get someone else to do it for me. Now, you might obviously have the funds to be able to do that, at which point I would always advocate getting the professional to do it for you. But if funds are a bit tighter and you are managing your websites for yourselves, then hopefully this video and showing you some of the tricks on how to navigate, save templates, save your content, use them as reusable content, shift them up and down and move things around, will hopefully have got you a little bit more calmer and sorted out with some of the things that you need to do. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and stay notified. So that's it from me today. Thank you very much for watching.